Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sunday morning breakfast. Right, Chunky? See, we've got very, very cold temperatures outside, and the wind chill is way below zero, about 10 below, I think they said. So, we have got everybody inside. So, not only do I have all my normal gang, but I've also got all the strays. And I bring them inside from time to time when the weather is bad. These particular stray cats are ones that I did have taken care of during the trap neuter release program I did. Well, most of them. There's one left I gotta do. Two left I gotta do. But I know everybody is healthy. Everybody's from the same family group. They've all been tested for FIV and all that kind of stuff. And the outside, I call them the outsiders. The outsiders and the insiders have talked to each other through screens for months. So I know they can coexist within the same house without having major fights or problems. There's a little bit of squawking, of course, which is to be expected. But nothing that requires, no serious fighting. Just, little hissy fits, I call them. So right now, everybody is finishing breakfast. So we'll do a little tour of Sunday morning breakfast. It is about 6:30 a.m., which is a little later than normal. Sunday morning we sleep in. That is sleeping in when you have this many cats. Normally they are jumping on my head at 5 a.m. And that's my normal wake-up time, whether I like it or not, is somewhere between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, even on weekends. But they do usually let me go back to sleep. So right now that's Alex drinking water there. And that's Miss Phoebe. She was one of the mamas of the kittens a long time ago. Not the feral ones, but the ones before that. Back in April of 2023. She has been spayed now, so she's good. That's Mr. Pete, eating his favorite. He still loves kitten chow. That's his favorite thing in the whole world. So what they usually eat for breakfast, I do split up canned food. And everybody gets a few teaspoons of canned food. It takes about, I guess 4 cans to feed everybody because there's so many of them. But they break it up, and it's a special breakfast thing. So there is Miss Maggie, and that's Willow. And the tail sticking out is Phoebe. She's hiding. Everybody wants to go outside, but they don't realize it's freezing cold. There's Chunky Monkey drinking water from his fountain. That's Willow that just joined him. And over here on the counter, I do have some cats that eat on the counter because they prefer it. That is Sylvester eating his breakfast. Right, Alex? I know some people say, ew, don't let your cats on the counter, but you know what? It's my house and I'm the only one that lives here, so. Oh, Alex is going crazy. Are you getting zoomies? What are you doing? Are you zoomies? Is he happy? You got a full tummy? This is what Alex does. What are you doing? You're a kook. He gets very happy when he eats breakfast. And so this is everybody. Everybody meet everybody. That's Miss Austin that just sneezed. And Miss Maggie, and of course Chunk. This is Blackie. Come here, Blackie. Come over, show everybody how handsome you are. Isn't he a handsome guy? He is a stray that I caught in my trap neuter release program I did back in October. And he turned out to be very friendly. No idea if he belongs to anybody or not, but he doesn't seem to. But he's definitely used to people, so he's not a feral. So I don't know if he just wandered into the group or if he was dumped, but he seems pretty happy here. And he comes and goes. He's a typical rogue even after he's been neutered. Sometimes the other boys don't like him so much, but they all tolerate each other. Here comes Mr. Felix. Say good morning, Felix. Yeah. So let's see, how many do we have here? We have Alex, Will, Felix, Blackie, Phoebe, that's her tail behind there. Sylvester, that's 6. Miss Austin, that's 7, right? There's Miss Katie, that's 8. Mr. Pete, that's 9. Miss Maggie is 10. Toes McGee is doing wonderful. That's 11. And there's Miss Finn, which is 12. Good God, there's 12 of them. I can speak from personal experience. They are not cheaper by the dozen. I promise. They are not cheaper by the dozen. So that's who we have hanging out. So it is breakfast time. So everybody is eating. Now it is a good healthy butt sniffing session. I don't know if that's like information highway for animals or what, but they all do it. Will has overeaten and has passed out. No, I'm just kidding. Will is fine. Right, Will? So you're doing good. You're just chilling in the middle of everybody. Blackie wants to go. That is one thing with Blackie. He's very sweet, very handsome, but he definitely prefers outside. He is not an inside guy. He wants to be outside almost all the time. So I try to at least force him to stay inside until the sun comes up when it's cold like this, because I don't want them to get frostbite. I mean, you got a fur coat, dude, so you're one step ahead of everybody else. I get it. But, oh, come on, camera. Focus. Focus. Hello. There you go. You know, they got fur coats. They're one step ahead of everybody else, but I still worry about his little face with the wind blowing with his eyes and his nose. I don't want it to cause any damage to his face there. So I think the wind has died down overnight, so even if he wants to go out now, it's like, I think 13 now. I would prefer he didn't, but if he absolutely, you know, the alternative is they all start peeing on everything, so it's like, well, okay, yeah. I'd rather not be, I'm already going to be scrubbing the carpets today anyhow, but, so this is part of breakfast, so I will pause the video quickly, because it's time to go clean litter boxes, and nobody wants to see that, because that's gross, so I'll be right back. Okay, that's better. Now all the boxes are cleaned, and Alex is still running. He gets zoomies a lot in the morning after he eats. So all the boxes are nice and clean, and I've washed my hands and everything before picking up the phone again. And there's Sylvester. And now that everything is nice and clean, it's time for treats. Is anybody interested in treats? So Felix is interested in treats. He says, yes, please. Treats sound very good. And then after the sun comes up and the outsiders go back out, then I will start my cleaning and disinfecting process that happens when I've had everybody in for the night. Because they're all pretty good at litter box usage. Blackie is excellent. He never has a mistake. The only ones who have mistakes are Pete. And sometimes some of the other guys, they're in the box, but they misplace where they're sitting. And they overshoot stuff. So I have to scrub things up. What do you think, buddy? So we've got all kinds of different treats that they like. So this morning, we're going to pass out some greenies. Nothing is sponsored here, by the way. No sponsoring at all. This is just what they eat. Okay, you guys ready? Oh boy. There you go. This is part of their favorite game in the morning. Is they love it when I throw treats. Most of them do anyway. Yeah, there you go. Okay. They love it when I throw treats, and then they chase them all around the kitchen, and they eat them that way. Right, Alex? Here you go. Here's yours. Except Alex. Alex is a gentleman. He would prefer to have his just quietly placed in front of him. So that's there. And now I have another one. Well, I'm going to have to put the phone down. Pardon my filming. Lack of filming, I should say. I I gotta get a handful of the other treats. And then, oh, here we go. And we'll go down the hall. And we'll find Miss Katie, because Miss Katie doesn't like the greenies so much. It's just not her cup of tea. Right, guys? Say these guys will eat anything. It's not her cup of tea. And it's not Finn's cup of tea either, or Sylvester's cup of tea. So, here you go, Foo-Foo. You want some treats? Here you go, okay? Okay, come on. Yep, treat time, guys. Treat time. Treat time. Treat time. Treat time. I feel like the old, remember in the movie theater when you were kids at the drive-in, they used to have that, do they still have drive-in movie theaters? I wonder if they still do. There's one not far from us, but there used to be a song about going to the lobby to get some snacks that they would play in the movie theaters, and at the drive-in they had like a little stand. Guys, ready? Yeah. You only get a couple here and there because you had all the greenies. You don't need to eat both kinds. Say, that's no good. How about you, Foo-Foo? Foo-Foo likes to be in quiet. Okay. You want some of these in here? Oh, let's get this. Light, please. Thank you. Let's get this here. Okay. Come on, boo-boo. You gonna come up? Okay. Yeah, there's my guy, Sylvester. Hey now, Alex. Here, this is yours then. You have yours, let Sylvester have his. Okay. Everybody else all right? Yeah, that's Will. Okay, so everybody had treat time. And now we'll see how well everybody behaves. I've got to get Chunk into the vet, hopefully in the next month here, within the next month. Because now that his nose issues are finally calming down, he'll be healthy enough to get... good girl, Phoebe. Phoebe just used the box. Well, there's Miss Katie. You're patiently waiting, and I got treats for you, and I'm so busy talking on the phone. In the video, I forgot to save some of the handful for her, so... Yeah, well, get out of the way. Don't yell at me that I'm trying to pass you. That's Chunk. Chunk is such a shazid. Alright, let me go get my fabulous camera angle again. I need both hands to open this, I'm sorry. What are you doing, dumbass? This Chunk crashing up onto the counter. Chunk, I believe, is the only cat I've ever had that has absolutely almost no sense of grace at all. Like, nothing he does is graceful. He's like a bull in a china shop. Everything is just constant crash. Can I walk, please, guys? Thank you. Come on, we got to go bring this to Miss Katie. She's been waiting very patiently. And we were so busy talking on our video, we forgot about it. There's that beautiful girl. Yeah. Here you go. There. What do you want, Chunk? So what I was starting to say was I got to get Chunk. I got to shampoo the carpets because we had some accidents. Chunk has got to go in to get neutered now that he can breathe properly. And we can get him taken care of because he's awakening now. He's a late bloomer. He's 8 months. He should have been interested in things months ago, but I guess because of his nose, he couldn't really smell. So now that his nose is a little bit better, he's catching the scent of all the females, so now he's running around going crazy on everybody. I don't think Blackie will appreciate it if you try it on him, honey. Like, you do you. I'm not going to judge, but just make sure it's consensual, okay? Yeah. All right, then. Sorry. So there's Pete and Maggie and Chunky Monkey. If he keeps stalking everybody, he's going to go in his room. I call it horny jail. He gets a little too amorous with the rear end sniffing, and then he starts really annoying people, and I can usually tell when he's starts irritating everybody and he won't let up, then it's time for him to go to horny jail. And he just goes in the back room with some dry food and some water for an hour or so until he calms down and stops trying to put his nose up everybody's butt. Because, like, that ain't nobody want that, right? Say, ain't nobody want that. Yeah. That's Willow. I don't think Toes wants it either, honey. And Blackie's over there. So the sun should be up soon. And we'll see how everybody wants. But now everybody has had treats. And everybody's relaxing. And I got to put a new cardboard thing in their scratcher with the ball that goes around in the circle. Because during the night somebody decided to pee in it. Which I'm like, okay. One, I'm grateful you didn't pee on the carpet. So you get points for that. But preferably in the middle of your toy is not where you should empty your bladder. And we'll discuss that later. You know, at least they had the concept they had to go to a specific spot. That's the beginning of it. And most of them are good. It's usually Felix and Pete that have the issues. And they're both neutered, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But, like, I've never had a problem with anybody else using the litter box except for Pete and Felix. Those are the two boys that have issues. They're both neutered, both older cats. Pete is older than Felix. But I think Pete is around the same age as Alex. Alex and Katie are 8 now, and I think Pete is about 7 or 8. They estimated Toes to be somewhere around 8, somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. Felix is only 6, because Austin is Felix's mother. So we have Alex and Katie, who came along first. That was 8 years ago, right, guys? And then after that, Miss Finn and Miss Austin showed up, so they are 7. And Felix is Miss Austin's son, so he should be about 6. And then Miss Austin later on had Phoebe and Maggie, and they came way later on. Austin is the one female that I can never catch. She comes in my house, but no matter how many times, I can't catch her. If I bend down to try to get her, she's gone, and she's fast. And she actually went through, it was an open window. It had a screen. It wasn't glass, obviously, but I had tried to catch her a couple of summers ago, and she actually busted right through the screen of the window and left. So she's not an easy one to catch. If I just kind of leave her alone, she does good. Except she needs to get spayed so she stops dropping kittens everywhere. But the good thing is when she does get pregnant, which is one very good thing that's come along, the same traits as everybody else. Miss Austin does it this way, and Miss Maggie May there, and Miss Phoebe are the ones that had the kittens back in April when I started really doing cat videos on this channel. And luckily, they take after their mama, where they only tend to have 3 kittens, 4 kittens at the most, apiece. So it's bad enough you got to deal with kittens when you're not planning it, but at least the family trait with these gangs seem to be they don't drop 6 or 7 kittens like some cats do. We're very lucky that they all seem to drop, they have 3, sometimes 4, and that's it. And so we'll see. So, but we don't have to worry about that with Miss Phoebe anymore. She was spayed, so she's good. No more kittens from Miss Phoebe. But we have kind of generations, really, which in a way is, I didn't plan to have this many cats, don't get me wrong. And I don't think it's a great idea to have this many cats because they destroy everything. But Yes, I know, Felix. You want to go out. You have to wait just a little while longer for the temperature to come up. And we got to make sure the wind died down so you don't have that below zero wind chill, because no kitty should be outside in it. But the generations are actually pretty cool because it's, Miss Austen who's down the hallway resting now. There's Toes. She's one of the original ones, and then she had Felix, and then several years later she had Phoebe and Maggie, and then just this past April, Phoebe is the one that had Toes. Not Toes. I'm looking at Toes. Phoebe is the one that had Chunk and Willow. Right? So there's Willow. So Willow is here, and Felix is Willow's much older brother. Right, Felix? So Felix and Maggie, right? Felix is Maggie's much older. No, wait. Felix is Maggie's much older brother, so that makes Willow your Uncle Felix to Willow, because you are Phoebe's, who is your much younger sister's offspring. So that's Uncle Felix for you. So we've got nephews and uncles and cousins and grandcats and all kinds of stuff. So Miss Austen is Willow's and Chunk's grandmama cat. So in a way, it's kind of cool. It's like we have our own little family, right? Which kind of works out good because I don't really have a family of my own. So these guys are my family. I mean, I've got my mother and my sister. Don't get me wrong. I do have family, but that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, everybody else has passed on because they were either much older when I was little. Like my mother's side of the family, we had a huge family because my mother's side of the family was Italian. So you know how that goes. It's like there's no such thing as 2 or 3 people, right? It's like that old comedy. The comedian guy used to say, they don't go out in 2s and 3s. They go out in 10s and 14s. And, that's how it is. But they were all older when I was a little kid, growing up. So, of course, sadly, it was my mother's aunts and uncles and cousins. So everybody has just passed on now. And so there's my mother and my sister left, which is great. But that's it. There's not anybody else really left of our family. So sometimes it makes me happy when I have, it's too many cats, yes, and I didn't plan on having this many cats, but it happened. So I'm just kind of making the best of it and enjoying it, because in a way it's kind of cool, because then like Chunk is sitting on the floor and Maggie is playing, and sometimes they play together, and really technically to Chunk that's Aunt Maggie, because that's his mom's sister cat. So that's Aunt Maggie to him, right? And then Finn is a great aunt, right? Because Finn is Austin's sister. So for Maggie, it's Aunt Finn, and for Willow, it's Great Aunt Finn. And Uncle Felix. And Felix was born of Austin, so Felix, that's Aunt Finn to Felix too. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun. It's fun to have kind of a whole family tree with the cats of this one who came from that one, who came from this one. So a lot of them all came from Austin. Austin was the one. Finn I was able to catch before she was able to have a litter of kittens and get her spayed, because she was always very sweet and friendly. Austin was not very sweet and friendly at all. She is mellowing out big time as she gets older, which is the only reason she's even in the house now. Because normally she wouldn't even come in the house. That only started like in the past year, I guess. But for many, many years, she wouldn't even come inside a house. She was almost totally feral, which I always thought was odd. Sylvester, what are you doing? The clock, the ticking of the clock is that what's going to make you crazy this morning? You have to get the clock? I love Sylvester, but boy's on the spectrum. I mean, I can't. He's a little odd. He's a good cat, but he's a little odd. But there's Miss Austen. See, there's Miss Austen, and it is hard to believe that only a little over a year ago, you were completely antisocial, where now you at least come in the house when it's cold. Because she would just go under the shed during storms and ice and snow and stuff. She wouldn't even come inside. So I'm glad now I can at least make her safe. Chunk, I wouldn't advise you getting too close to Miss Austen. She is definitely a fighter. You don't want to make her mad. At all. And you don't want to get amorous with her either, because that's your grandmother. That's kind of weird. Even though it doesn't matter to cats. I do keep them separated when I'm not awake, because Chunk and Willow are not neutered yet, and Austen is not spayed yet. And unfortunately, cats don't do the whole... It's rare that they get too old. Although, I don't know, she didn't have any kittens last season, so I'm hoping maybe she won't conceive as easily until I can get her caught. Now that I have some extra traps, I'm going to go back and probably later this month to trap Miss Maggie and Miss Austen. They're the last two ladies that are left to do. And then for the boys, it's just Chunk and Willow. And that's it. Right there. My camera's all over the place because I'm kicking my shoes off. And I'm going to sit down and give my back a break after I've been washing dishes and cleaning up countertops and scooping litter boxes and everything from everybody. So it's a lot of work. Like I said, I did not plan to have this many cats. I don't recommend having this many cats. But it happened. And the reason I do have them is because like I said, a lot of them came from Austen. And I feel responsible because I was never able to really catch her and get her spayed. So I don't think it's right to just leave all of her offspring running amok and causing trouble. So I make sure that I care for them and I give them shelter and food and medical, and get them spayed and neutered. All the ones I can catch, which is everybody so far except Maggie. Maggie's just like her mother. Very difficult to catch. Very smart. Doesn't fall for the trap thing. So, what's the matter, Chunky? Chunky has found his voice. What are you doing, Shathid? Huh? What's the matter? What's the matter? That's the Terror Twins there. They get into no end of trouble. Chunk and Willow together. Everybody sitting on my Chewy boxes. I know my house looks like a disaster. I apologize. I do have plans to clean it up in the spring. Work should calm down here in the spring. We're actually, where I work, it's very, very busy from October until through Christmas. And then there's a little bit of a lull, like right now. The beginning of January anyways, a little bit of a lull for production anyhow. For me, it never slows down because it's all about, I'm the bookkeeper, so it's all about accounting and bill paying and flow planning and all that kind of good stuff. And I assist the HR person with payroll, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on in January with taxes and 1099 forms and blah, 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 blah. So my life is pretty chaotic in January. And then mostly when we get past Valentine's. I gotta laugh because everybody's like, oh, you're so lucky you work for a flower company during Valentine's. No, not lucky. I promise you, not lucky. It is hell on earth. It really is. To know what goes on behind the scenes with flowers and stuff during Valentine's Day is crazy because the demand can be so high for certain things. And like, we don't even do cut flowers. We do bulbs. So it's not even roses that we're doing. We're doing stuff like tulips and hyacinths and that kind of thing, and it's crazy. So I can't even imagine what it must be like with people that do roses. That's got to be insane. Um, so I don't know, man. It's nuts because there's the constant demand, and people don't realize that when you're dealing with flowers, it's not a phone accessory. You can't make it 4 months ahead of time and sit it on a shelf so that it's there when you need it. That's not how it works, right? The flowers the bulbs that we get come dormant, and they gotta be done. So it's like not anything, they gotta grow, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you just make it and store it away. It don't work like that. But it'll be over soon, and we'll get past Valentine's Day, and then things will calm down a little bit, and then I can take a week off and do a real thorough house cleaning, which is what I plan to do. And then in the spring, we'll talk with my coworker that owns a farm, and we're going to see if we can find some alternate homes for some of these outsiders. Excuse me, so that the neighbors don't get angry again once the nice weather comes, once springtime comes. A lot of them are going to want to go outside and stay outside, and then I'm going to have troubles all over again. So I have a coworker that has a farm with lots of land that the outside gang can run on, and then they'll have barns to go to where it's nice and warm and things like that. But I didn't want to transport them in the middle of winter and have them getting used to a whole new environment in harsh conditions. That's not something I wanted to do. So we're going to wait until probably the spring when it starts to get warm out, where there's no more freezing nights, and give them a chance to get used to the surroundings and the new place and see if they're happy there. And then we'll let them go to that place where they can run around and help out at the farm and stuff like that. And then I'll still know that they're safe and they're taken care of. And they won't be here outside running around making trouble with the neighbors. And then eventually I'll probably have to sell my house, which I hate to do, but eventually I might have to do that. Just because I don't want to live like that, or I feel like people all around me don't like me. That's no fun. So, but at least I have the person across the street who's wonderful. There's a husband and wife across the street. And we cat sit for each other, and she loves cats just as much as I do. And they are wonderful people. It's just the other ones around. And it's not that they're bad people. They're not bad people. They just don't like cats. So, it sucks. But at least I have a plan. We'll see if the plan works or not. And we'll get everybody safe and sound, but not until it's warmer out. Because we don't want them to be in a bad situation in the cold, getting used to a new place. That's not right. So we'll take care of it in the most responsible way we can. And that's how we'll do it. But so that is a typical Sunday morning. That is my routine. Run around in circles and cleaning up after cats. But anyhow, so I have babbled on for long enough. I hope you guys have a good week. Stay warm. And everybody take care, okay? Be good to each other.